eBooks right here on Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there is having themselves a great day. This 5 times 55 or 55 times 5, really, this repetition thing, there's a challenge that's going around out there. I had someone that kind of asked me about this question and asked, hey, is this a good idea? You heard about this 55 times 5 thing that's going on around. And I'll tell you what, cover thing, I figured I'd cover it from a couple avenues. Yeah, sure, it's a great idea. One of the things that I want to keep in mind on all these topics, these techniques that we use, is most of them are good. Most of them have the right mechanics built into them. And really, that's what it comes down to. A lot of it, typically, to start with, comes down to belief. If you feel it's going to work better, if you feel this is a more effective technique, then it will benefit you more than it might someone who's like, it doesn't work for me. I never liked it, never have enjoyed it. So again, it's one of those things. Find something that's comfortable for you, right? There's not a right or a wrong. It's all about results. It's all about what feels good. It's about what brings about that desired feeling within ourselves. I mean, again, it's the mechanics, which I love talking about. And I've done a lot of videos on the different kinds of mechanics that go along with this. So we will discuss these with this 55 by 5 kind of technique, right? But we'll get into the mechanics of it. But certainly, I just wanted to say right off the bat, belief. If you don't believe in it, it's not going to work. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's the 9 by 99 or 99 by 9 or 77 by 7, right? And really, you could choose any number. It doesn't matter. The reason it's kind of an effective technique, for some anyways, is the repetition. And what the 55 by 5 challenge is you take whatever it is that you're desiring to manifest. Maybe it's your specific person. Maybe it's a car, dream vacation, a boat, a yacht, a trip to the moon, whatever your thing is. There is a way to put it into a sentence. So you basically find a sentence. I do recommend making the sentence as concise as you can because you're going to be writing it a bunch. You can make it as long as you'd like, though, because that's up to you. But you take this sentence, and this sentence contains, and it should really, I think, and maybe I'm missing something on what they're teaching, but it really should contain an I am component to it. And if it doesn't state that, I would recommend that as a better approach. If you state it with an I am statement, so I am wealthy, or I am going to be making an extra $500, I am dating so-and-so, I am progressing my life and am seeing examples of it, or I am seeing examples of how my life is progressing in the right direction. Like, really, there's a lot of ways that you can kind of run with this and get some interesting results, get some good answers, get some feedback as far as, am I manifesting things, right? Sometimes it's a little murky. Sometimes we're in the middle of the forest and all we can see is trees when you can't, you don't realize it's a forest, right? So sometimes getting away from it a little bit kind of helps. But the idea is to take that sentence and write it 55 times for 5 days. If you do that for 5 days at 55 times each, you will see results. They say you will get whatever it is that you're manifesting. You might very well get it. There's no question. I'm just saying there's a variance. You will definitely get results. That I almost would promise. I say almost because, come on, let's not be crazy. But really, whenever you do something with that amount of repetition, that often, it creates a subconscious belief structure within you. So we're talking about the mechanics here, right? So it's creating something that's beat into you. So that subconscious mind, that voice, the doubter that we sometimes might have, that doubter voice is kind of quieted a little bit because we've given it this to focus on. It's done it so much. It's actually kind of beat into it, if you will. So you've kind of beat it into submission with this 55 times 5 days straight. And you create this very profound aspect to it. So one of the other mechanics at work, repetition of anything, it's just creating a powerful mantra or an affirmation or whatever. It's the same kind of thing that's going on here. You're saying an affirmation a lot. It helps with the mind. It's actually creating a vocal or at least words or thoughts outward, which are creative, right? It's getting you focused on what it is that you're trying to manifest, right? So a lot of times, many of us throughout the day maybe get scared, get freaked out, start thinking, oh my God, they might break up with me, or oh no, they may never forgive me, or oh my God, I may never get that vacation, right? When we spend the time going down those thought paths, we're putting energy towards what it is that we're scared of. When we use this 55 by 5 concept for the day, because 55 times is a lot. I mean, if you're going to do it all at one time, groovy. but you're putting your thought and focus towards this manifestation with a great amount of frequency, a great amount of emphasis, a great amount of power. You're writing it, you're saying it, right? All these things are coming together. It's very powerful. Again, we've spoken about how we manifest. It's what you think, what you say, and what you do. You're doing all three of them with this technique. So the 55 by 5 is a strong technique from that standpoint as well. 2 or 3 or 5, I don't know, whatever number of mechanics we're on right now. You also can kind of look at it from the standpoint of it's not necessarily something that has to be public. Because a lot of the times when we're doing these public outcries, when we're doing this public display, that sometimes we do run the risk of friends asking questions, friends saying, hey, I thought you were going to date so-and-so. Hey, I thought you were doing such and such. Hey, I thought, and when they ask, again, they may think all sorts of positive. It may be in the right direction that they're asking you these questions because they might legitimately care and want to see you succeed. But a lot of times they might inject doubts too sometimes. So again, when you can have something that's kind of a little more your own, kind of hold your cards close to your chest and nobody sees them, right? You're like, all right. So when you can do that, that gives you a lot of strength as well for this technique. So again, the 55 by 5 challenge is really good. I'm not making promises as far as how accurate it is because, and this is really kind of the last little point I want to make on this shorter video, right? That doesn't happen often. But one of the things that is a problem that a lot of people don't see, one of the things that's causing us to stumble, one of the things that does slow us down, one of the things that is a handbrake that many of us don't notice. And this ties into it. And I'm not saying that the person that sent me this information is guilty of this. I'm not saying that any of you are guilty of this. I am saying this is something always to know and pay attention to. These techniques, when we go searching for a better technique or another technique, or we're searching for something else to try, the question we need to really stop and think about for a second is why? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Am I doing it because I don't believe what I'm doing is working? Do I believe the efforts I've made thus far are not working and I need to do better efforts? Or do I believe the efforts I've done so far must not be working because I don't see it yet? Or the efforts I've done so far probably aren't working, so I'm going to try something else. Or the efforts I've done so far are good, but it hasn't happened yet, so I'm going to try something else. If it's coming from that angle anywhere, that's kind of the problem. That's the problem. You don't think it works. If you don't think it works, it doesn't work. It's the belief. The belief limits. We can go through the motions all we want. It's not that you're repeating words. It's not that the mantra is repeated. It's the feeling. It's the creative process that we go through to make things become physical in our lives. Thinking, saying, and doing is really the spark or the avenue, but it's also meant to drive that emotional connection, that feelings that goes with it. That part, that's the soul. That's the creative force. It's really coming from that feeling place that we create. And when we hide that feeling place behind a feeling of disbelief, then that is actually the limiting gate right there. Boom. That's the parental control on the cable box. Boom. Done. You're not getting through. You can do all you want behind it. La, 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 behind it all you want, but you're blocked. So if you're doing it for those reasons, caution, that's all. That's all. It's identifying where the stumbling block is, where we can finally do something about it. It's when we keep saying, no, 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 that nothing can change. You know, that whole, hear no evils, or see no evil, hear no evil, say no evil, right? That whole monkeys things, 3 monkeys. Now, if you're one of these people that's looking for other techniques because you enjoy doing these techniques, because you just have fun putting some extra oomph and extra thoughts to your manifestation, great. If you're someone right now that just said, yeah, no, that's what I am. That's what I am. You almost had me with the other stuff. Yeah, I would recommend circling back around because a lot of times, even if you're just doing additional stuff, you still don't understand the whole concept behind once you've created it, once that image is truly real in your mind, it is manifest. It is real. It's more of a dimensional shift at that point. It's more an issue of solidifying and coming into our physical world, but it is real. It is no less real once you have imagined it than it is when it's finally physical in your hand. And that's one of the harder parts to grasp for most of us until we've done it a few times. And then we're like, yeah, I get it. It's weird and it's magical and it's cool and it'll make you giggle when it happens time after time after time after time. But it is what it is. And that's kind of the cool part about it all. So remember, just kind of paying attention to why we're seeking different things. But this is a great technique. So if you want to do something and you feel like you really want to put a lot of energy towards it in a very short period of time, 55 times, 5 days, boom, you're making serious progress very, very quickly. And I'm quite sure that you'll be writing in something in 5 days going, oh my God, I can't even believe it. It was like day 2 and I was like already seeing stuff or, something like that. It's always Valley Girl, right? But I do that often because I live here in Southern California. That's why. Valley Girls are everywhere out here and they're fun to make fun of. At least their accent. I don't have an accent. You have an accent. It's totally you. Anyway, going out with another great song by Pet Shop Boys. The song is called One More Chance. It's right here on Dan Radio Style.